pushing this left flank.
Right, let's see how good I am at RPGs in this. Well, I attracted him and did not hit him at all. Okay, he just crash landed.
Fucking hell. We good?
Yeah.
That was insane.
I think there's a boat coming down the river.
Jeep just drove past.
Oh, did you go? Why is one fucking pistol? I think there's one still alive, maybe somewhere. Did I blow him up? No, I blew him up.
Nope, got him. What happened?
I don't know. A bin exploded next to me and a fucking sniper came out of it.
Battlefield Bad Company 2. What a game. What a game. I love Bad Company 2. It's a game that fully propelled me into the world of online shooters nearly 11 years ago now, and it's one that many Battlefield fans adore and revere. I dabbled with the Battlefield franchise beforehand in Battlefield 2 and 2142, but our internet connection at the time was never good enough to warrant online play, so I mainly played against bots. Fast forward to 2010, where I just hit first prestige on Modern Warfare 2, California Girls by Katy Perry made me feel things I'd never felt before, and Sebastian Vettel won his first F1 championship, so yeah, it was a pretty good year for me. I remember being around my mate Tom's house and his older brother was playing a game that I'd never seen before. Battlefield Bad Company 2? It sounds rubbish, give me Call of Duty. What we witnessed, however, absolutely blew our minds. Tanks, explosions, helicopters, buildings being torn apart, explosions, huge maps, amazing gunplay, and more explosions. We both immediately begged our parents to buy the game for us. Probably less than 2 hours later, we were online and in a squad together. I can remember it so vividly, and it was a huge influence on where our gaming interests headed afterwards. Ask a room full of Battlefield fans and at least half of them will say that Bad Company 2 was their favourite. I can guarantee it. Even the old school purists of Battlefield on PC respect this title. Bad Company 2 was immensely popular when it dropped and is still such a solid game to play today. But what about Bad Company 2 makes it stand out from the rest of the Battlefield titles? Why is it so fondly looked back upon? What exactly made Battlefield Bad Company 2 so damn good? The first thing I'd like to talk about is gunplay, and gunplay is all about how a firearm feels and the physical mechanics of a gun in a game. Reload animations, how it sounds, the recoil, the feedback you get when you hit a target, these are all factors that BC2 absolutely nails. Every single weapon in the game ticks these boxes twice over and gives you a kiss on the cheek for good measure. You know when you're firing a gun in this game, and satisfying doesn't even begin to describe it. One particular standout for me is the sheer weight of some of these weapons. Every squeeze of the trigger makes your headphones rumble and your screen shake, and one amazing example of this are the sniper rifles. Take a look at this clip of me using the M95. Now compare that to a similar rifle in Battlefield 4.
I think I just stop your defusers. Oh, you got me there.
Get wrecked!
I sprayed down that corridor and got 2 kills.
Yeah, I just sniped into the smoke and got 2 of you. Bad Company's guns and movement are much slower than today's standards. There's no vaulting, no strafing, which is probably a symptom of its console focus, and even no prone mechanic. It's solid, punchy and heavy compared to the fluid fast pace of later games. Now that's not to be confused with sluggish, it's simply a slower pace with some weight behind it, and I personally prefer that. Twitch shooters to me just don't feel as nice to play, and yes, I do understand I'm probably using that as an excuse for how bad I am at anything remotely quick. Next is a simple one, destruction. The Battlefield series has always been synonymous with destruction, and it truly became a selling point in the original Bad Company game. The sequel took it to the next level by allowing you to literally level almost every building in a map. This has since become a staple feature of the franchise, but Bad Company 2's implementation feels the most dynamic to me. Buildings collapse with physics rather than just playing an animation, and the remaining rubble is different every time, providing cover and little hidey holes to shoot out of. Over the course of a match, buildings, walls and terrain get ripped apart by just the natural flow of firefights. Flanking routes open up, cover gets pummeled into dust, and entire buildings collapse, sometimes all at the hands of a stray grenade or missed RPG shot. This level of destruction has limitless tactical opportunity, and to be honest, it's an absolute blast, get it, just to blow some shit up. The destruction capabilities were reined in somewhat with later titles like Battlefield 3 and 4. Battlefield 1, stupid name, seemed to do more with actual terrain deformation, but I only played the beta so can't talk much about it. Same with Battlefield 5. Then there's the sound design. With flat and boring sound, the gunplay and destruction mechanics wouldn't be anywhere near as effective as they are. All DICE games have phenomenal sound design, and BC2 is no different. The crack of a bullet as a sniper in the distance takes pot shots at you never fails to make hair stand on end, while the clattering of shell casings as you unload a machine gun makes you feel like Rambo himself, until that sniper lands his shot, of course.
Where the fuck is that sniper?
Sound bounces realistically when indoors, echoing through the building, and large explosions muffle your hearing temporarily, creating a split second of calm before the carnage rushes back.
Everybody come! Asshole!
So the game feels, plays, and sounds great. Simple enough, right? Well, the thing is, even DICE don't know why fans love Bad Company 2 so much. Way back when Hardline was being developed, yeah, remember that one? DICE CEO Carl Magnus Trodson was quoted as saying, "There's one thing that lingers with Bad Company that we've been asking ourselves. What is it that the people really liked about Bad Company?" He goes on to say, "It's scary to go back and try to remake an old fan favourite when actually no one can really put their finger on what it is people love. But some people say this, the Bad Company 2 multiplayer is the best you've ever done. Okay, why is that? It's hard for people to articulate what that is, which is actually hard for us. It would be hard to remake something like that. Can we do it? Of course. We have our theories when it comes to the multiplayer." Well, that was about 7 years ago now, and we haven't heard a peep about a third installment. I don't think DICE and EA believe it's worth the risk to mess about with such a beloved IP, especially when the current state of Battlefield games churn money out like a printer nowadays. The quotes I used reference the multiplayer specifically. It is worth mentioning that both Bad Company titles feature brilliantly unique campaigns, but they're worth their own video one day. Now, having said all this, has the game aged well? Keep in mind we're talking about a game over a decade old, and that's like, what, 60 if we're talking about dog years? I think the answer is yes. Mostly. Visually, I think it holds up immensely well. Overall graphics, textures, particle effects, etc., they were top-notch back in the day, and they're still more than okay now. There are a fair few quality-of-life mechanics that we perhaps take for granted nowadays, like vaulting and such, but there is one standout flaw. There's no FOV slider. That means I can only play Bad Company 2 for a max of about an hour before I get more motion sick than I do at Thorpe Park. Don't get me wrong, I have tons of fun during, but it does really put me off committing to a couple full games of Conquest. Now I looked into dabbling with some INI files and such, but with how notoriously unforgiving Punkbuster anti-cheat is when it comes to external and tampered with files, I didn't think it was worth the risk. It probably would have caused major graphical issues anyway, so I'll just have to put up with feeling a bit queasy. Overall, Battlefield Bad Company 2 was and still is a great game, and whilst I've outlined some reasons as to why I found it so good, I'm sure the answer is different for everyone. If it were an easy answer, they would have made a third one, right? Right? I think next I'll look at the brilliant Vietnam War expansion because that's right, there's even more to love about this game. But before then, enjoy Michael realising he just got dunked on when we played the other night. That was a great game. 22-25.
I'm dog shit. Oh no. My KD is 0.42.
Do you want to switch to Battlefield 4?
You can do.
Okay.
I'm so shit at this game. I don't think I've done that bad in a first person shooter since probably the last time I played this game.
What, 10 years ago then?
Yeah.